Operation or legacy and design have been defeated by that. Because if you look at that document, it was a uh, clear address to the key pillars that would have already by now. We wouldn't be talking about these things. We should be celebrating a number of things, especially when it comes to how our economy is managed. But to have to experience a trade fair that awards the Zimbabwe Republic Police, even when it's functioning well. How does a country that is poised for development award a police force on a trade fair? What is the police force trading in? You see, from that background, that thing trade fair presents an opportunity. You see that actually brings business together. If you look at how the Jewish do their business, and I believe this thing was structured in such a manner by the Rhodesians, because this thing has been ongoing well before independence. How they had structured it was to create an environment where business discover where they can interrelate to grow the economy of our country. And to see uh, the police winning there, it's a defeat. It's really a defeat, because now you see the guys who are actually supposed to be participating in events like those ones, the business people. These are the guys, the most, as they say, these are our Elon Musk guys. Look at Elon Musk. The first thing that he did as soon as Donald Trump went into the White House was to come and present the new model of Teslas. That's business. So it's a clear defeat. And our president walks from this stand to that stand to that stand. The purpose of that setup already, how it relates with government, is the president will come and say, okay, these are the businesses that we have operating in our country. They specialize in that, in that, in that. That setup is created to even influence policy making. But what policy is going to be influenced by monitoring a stand? Yes, therapy. The only thing that I saw that was outstanding, maybe because maybe I wasn't following, ka ucheke mwana wekupiwa 200 uyo. But well, and I'm disappointed, Ulu. I don't want to lie, but on the other hand, you cannot expect much from politicians. The whole bunch of these guys are politicians. You look at Scott Sapkwanya, he is a member of parliament. He was elected into parliament. Look at Mr. Tagwirei, he's being co-opted into the central committee. These are politicians. So you will not expect much from politicians when it comes to these things, because the most important thing for politicians is to retain power. So we are left with a situation where we must engage as citizens and really hold them accountable from a structured manner. For now, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tinashe. And for those who are just joining us again, thank you for joining me, Hulu at Pachiso Life. And Zimai is with us in the house. And Sister Comfort Dondo also is with us. As you know, we always bring the news, to our country, the news that can help to bring about the kind of Zimbabwe that many of those who suffered, before 1980, who fought in the liberation struggle to bring about a free, prosperous, and independent Zimbabwe, they had hopes to see that kind of a country. So upon their aspirations, that is the reason why we are here. Upon their aspirations, that's the reason why we have to fight this war. That is the reason why we do not want Sean Mnangagwa to be running in the rain. protecting his father. The Zimbabwe Republic Police, which won the exhibition at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, is supposed to be competent enough to look after our president, to look after our VIPs. Unfortunately, Sean Mnangagwa has to battle it out in the rain, and his jacket has to be soaked by the water, and it looking very messy. The whole situation. I saw Wicknell himself also running alongside the cars. Perhaps he was also trying with his big body to protect the president. Who knows? I'm saying this, without any measure of insult. I respect Wicknell as a fellow human being, and this is a public space. I wouldn't want to humiliate him or insult him in any manner. But it is, I think, very disappointing to find out that IMC, his company, was nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found at Zimbabwe International Trade Fair. So welcome to the space. Zulu is with me, together with the beautiful Eleonora. They are today. They are actually a bit off from work. From these chiefs, and they know what we mean when we say the ZRP winning the exhibition at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair with the quality of the police clearances that they produce. The police clearance from Zimbabwe is the worst police clearance later you can ever think of any country. It looks very, very, very embarrassing, but we are here. Let's talk about it. So welcome to the space, Saboku Dobbs from Chirezi, and Miles is also with us, and Dini Zimbabwe is with us. Marvin Keith is back, and Denzo has been with me for a while. So let me start with Saboku Dobbs from Chirezi, then we go to Miles. Zukwala, sorry, you have also been here, and I'll take notice of you soon. So let me go to my Saboku from Chirezi. Saboku, welcome to the space. Well, here we are. Please go ahead.
Yeah, many thanks. It's the way how things are interpreted in Zimbabwe, because the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair is no longer for trading. We are displaying things which are different. A good example is when we see a ZANU-PF there selling cards. I don't know how they are engaging with the international community when they are just there selling cards. It's something which confuses people to say, is this still a trade show? Because before it used to show our products, and there were a lot of business deals which were made. Now they can't talk about them to say what business deals were made between...
Sabuku, sorry to interject you. What about the Zimbabwe young women for ED?
No, don't worry. I am coming there. So I just wanted to correct Tinashe to say we can't take Scott Sakupanya as a politician. He's a murderer. That is what he is. And the victim is known as Messiah.
Yeah. But Sabuku Dogs, because this is a public space, we can't say that.
Okay, I withdraw that statement.
Yes. Thank you. Go ahead.
Because I just wanted to continue, but at times we need to just talk as it is, because there are so many Christians at this space. So then going to other things which have happened, like where we have the ZRP winning, it will surprise everybody to say the most corrupt organization in Zimbabwe is the one which is winning. It's something which really surprised everybody. Then going to the young women for ED, let's just leave them like that as they are, because we would want somehow to have that respect for women at times. Then let's just leave it there. But we know that you remember how you get the work. It's not coming from me. I'm just repeating what was saying by Ostalos and Geza, to say that is the way how he was promoted. But let's just leave them there to say, yeah, at times people get crazy, maybe because we are slowly becoming a mental case. But in future, if those in ZANU-PF, if you are saying that policies can be implemented based on ZITF, yeah, I would like to have those results, like what used to happen in the yesteryear, when they would tell us to say how many business deals have been made. And those business deals were true. They were not just telling us, because at times they were taking each other to court. One example is of a deal which would end up in court. It also involved that will of Mazda Motor Industry, which used to operate in Southampton in Harare. But it was a massive deal in terms of United States dollars, and another Zambian company. They end up taking each other to court. Then we end up believing to say these people are not just saying deals are being made at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair. And what also, not just about Zimbabwe, but to have other companies, not about politicians, to have other companies coming from across the region or internationally coming to display there and making those deals so that the country can move forward. There's nothing to become a political about the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, because it's something for Zimbabwe. But it leads a lot to be decided. Let me just end up here. Thanks a lot, everybody.
All right, thank you very much, Sabuku. Let me just go to Haji, and then from there, and Malvin, I'll come back to you because you have been here. So I think you want to respond to something briefly before I go to Miles. All right, Haji, welcome to the space. You are aware now of Wicknell Chivayo, Kudakwasi Tagwirei and Scott Sakwanya, having a no-show at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair. What is your take? Please go ahead.
Thank you, Hulu. Thank you so much for this platform.
Can you please remove the earphones and to be and be closer to your mic, because it is very difficult to hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Much better. Please go ahead.
I was saying thank you so much for this platform, my brother Hulu. I'll be very brief and precise. Number one, the guys we are talking about on this space, Chivayo, Tagwirei, and Scott, they did not fail. Why? There's no need for them to exhibit at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, because for them there is no benefit to it at all. Why? Because their businesses are getting money not out of merit or anything, but because of patronage. So only normal businesses that are real would want and would see the benefit of exhibiting at this Zimbabwe International Trade to get customers, to network, etc. But these guys' businesses don't depend on customers, etc. They get their monies from patronage. So exhibiting or not exhibiting does not make any difference to them, because their business is guaranteed. They rely on the connections that they have in business. And then about say Wicknell
Sorry, let's make it very clear. Can you mute your mic for a moment, because I think that is an important point that you brought about. So for the sake of our audience, Haji is stating that there was no need for Scott Sakwanya Tagwirei and Wicknell Chivayo to have any products or services displayed at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, because they don't get business from any customers. They get business by simply having an association with ZANU PF and the government. Is it what you are saying, Haji? Go ahead.
Exactly, that is my point. So only real business that are fighting for a market would see the benefit in showcasing their products. But these guys, clearly, as we all know, based on some audios that have been doing the rounds on social media, they actually said takachibata kuti G. So kuchibata kuti G is their source of business. And I'm sure you're all aware of the figures that are flying around. If there are anything to go about, why would they showcase when they're actually paid in advance before they provide any service, for that matter, ahead of other suppliers to the government that are still crying for not having been paid for over a year? So that is exactly my point. And then on the presence of Wicknell and Sean running by the motorcade, I think especially for Wicknell, my view with respect, it's actually a way of showing everyone that you thought I was lying, or I was trying to kumedza kutsenga kumedza. It was just a way for him to show how close he is to the ruling elite. He has become one himself. So that is my 2 cents. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Harvey. And for those, Harvey, you can just mute your mic, please. Thank you. And for those who are requesting, I will be bringing you up shortly, guys. I see you. It's just that, I am only allowed to have a maximum of 10 speakers. So those who are requesting, guys, I can see you. I will be bringing you up shortly. All right. Let me just go back briefly to Malvin Keith, and then after that, I go to Miles, as I had stated earlier. So Malvin, please go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Olu. One thing that I want us to understand as Zimbabweans, as a way to conscientize my fellow Zimbabweans, I just want to give you a historical background of how societies are framed to behave in a certain way, and in a particular way that will become problematic in the future. For instance, a good example. During this Smith era, there were sanctions that were on the Rhodesian government. And some of the sanctions could not allow them to buy freely things like automobiles. Cars were in those days were produced in the Western world, and they couldn't buy those things freely because they were sanctioned. So what did they do? They started what we now call macabre breakers, whereby they would take old cars, recycle them, take parts, and begin to sell them. They began to have a lot of places whereby things were fixed because there was no way to buy, or there were limitations to buy new things. So what then happens is after independence, we had a society that was locked in a framework whereby people were kind of a fixed society, whereby if you go anywhere, Muzimba say akakura kuma 80s, 90s, can fix anything. Akangona chinchafa, even asati achirasa anovhura achigadzira. Tinoda kutenga mapatsi, takatoenda kunzvimbo kusina munhu anotengesa zvinhu izvozvo, zvinototinetsa, because we are known as people who fix things. I have heard people in that stereotype, even in South Africa, what Zimbabweans can fix anything. They just fix anything. Why? Because there was a time whereby the people, or the society was placed in a certain framework because of the condition, or their conditioning caused them to behave in such a way. Now we have got this kind of conditioning that we have been receiving from the ruling party for years and ages, whereby corruption has become the parallel system which now runs the government, to such an extent whereby in as much as where we expect certain things, we then compromise and justify. There is no way you can have an international trade fair and we have got vasikana vekwa ED vachiwaina vakabata pasi. What kind of international trade fair are you exhibiting there? Where you have got political parties selling or vakutotsvaga mamember on an international platform whereby businesses that are in the country are supposed to be exhibiting. Embassies achitaura what they can offer to the business community. Interaction is day to day, whereby you can move to this embassy and be told this is what we do, and you find ways of connecting. That's what we would know. And the young people coming there to be inspired by the business people and the kuona vamakompani achitaura kuti tinoita nezvakadai, they would pick a career from it. So all these things that's what we would know kuti kana uchienda ku trade fair, this is what you are going to be finding there. Waitopfeka wakasutu nekaformal just to go kumbonoona zvinenge zviriko in the formal environment. But what is it that we have? We have got hapana chakaitwa apa varume, hapana zvatiri kuratidzwa. Basically apa. Look at what we are even discussing here. Chinhu chakatoita caught the eye. Kumhanya kwemumwe ari mhanya paside pemota, Shona achimhanya paside pemota, na Wicknell achifamba paside pemota. Those are the things that we are discussing over our trade fair. our something chinenge chichifana kumotivate neku connect the business community. So in a nutshell, what I am saying is how I wished Mr. Uhuru one day who could find somebody who's willing from the ZANU-PF government or any ZANU-PF supporter, who not just a card-bearing member, who could just explain to us maybe how ZANU-PF functions. As for me, I don't want to lie to you. I am embarrassed if I say kuti didn't. Yeah, it's an embarrassment in a way. So I wish you could find somebody who could at one point in time amboya on these spaces. Ombotitsanangurira kuti how does this organization of theirs change and how do they put out their priorities kuti vazochuza kuti tikuita ichi kutotenga zvikopo-kopo nemota dzemachifi muzvipatara musina mubhedha. I would just want to love that one day mumbotitirwa izvozvo mukombe.
Yeah, it is possible. I will be inviting Comrade Mapesa, Comrade Mandaza, he's a former spokesperson of ZANU-PF in South Africa, to speak. He was here earlier. If he comes back, I'm going to ask him to make that statement. Marvin Keith, Zulu, I'm not very sure if you know Comrade Mapesa. To send him a message to say somebody is asking a question that we would love him to answer. You can invite him to come up to the space so he can be able to answer that question. I will try as well to do the same as soon as I'm allowing the speakers to continue. So welcome to the space, Flora Romai. Welcome to the space, Zukwala. You have been here. So I said Miles is coming next. My bonga, I see you. Yeah, my bongwe, I see you. Please hang on a bit, and Dini, I see you as well. I see that hand. Let me just move with the speakers. Tawanda as well, and Ben Chu is with us. Mels, go ahead.
Hi guys. Murise Mese, I would like to say that the state of Zimbabwe, it seems as if we are now on overdrive, as it is right now, because so many things which are going on are at a rate which we have never, ever seen before. Even when we had the previous administration, there were so many things which were taboo, which could not happen because the men at the helm would not allow such foolishness to happen openly. I would like to say that as Black people, I think we need to come to a point where we ask ourselves that what are we doing to mitigate some of these problems that we are facing as a society, as Zimbabweans? Because it does not help to continue talking about problems and yet not coming up with workable solutions. For instance, I think as people who vote, and now I'm talking specifically to voters, we need to organize our votes and not just vote as individuals, but vote as a collective. That is the only way we can hold those that we put into office into account. And what I think we should do is that we should organize our votes and back our candidates with money. Because when you just vote for a person who is probably being sponsored by people who have nothing to give to us, the populace, but they want this person to be in this position so that they will continue either to loot or to gain favors, then the voting process is useless, in my view. We need to begin to organize and to put our money where our mouth is. The person that we are putting into office is someone that we are employing and will be backed by our money. So whatever they're going to do, whether in parliament or in the Senate or in government, if they end up being there, they've got to always come back to us and tell us whether he is on the right track or he's now deviating from what we agreed on. The problem is we want to vote as individuals. And in Zimbabwe, it's not working. Actually, I could say in Africa, it's not working. Look anyway, Nigeria, Kenya, everyone is just crying. Until the black bourgeoisie is completely annihilated, I do not think in Africa we can ever talk of real freedom. We can either talk of uhuru. We will never ever know peace in Africa until we get rid of this black bourgeoisie who are being used either by the West to propagate whatever it is that they think Africa, or the direction that Africa should go, should move towards. So uh, sometimes, for an example, sometimes a government will, will develop making roads and schools and stuff like that, but um, that is not really the development that the people want to see. And then at the end of the day, they would say it's better I cling on to power and not give the people exactly what they want. But at least when I get out of office, I'll say I did A, B, C, D. But those 3 or 4 things that they've done have not really trickled down to the masses. So it's complex, but I think we need to start to think about real solutions to our problems, because
Yeah.
discussing the problems only and not having workable solutions is really not taking us anywhere. I will have another point and then I leave. These black business people that we have in Africa or in Zimbabwe are really not um, investing in things that matter to us as black people. For an example, I've not seen any of the millionaires that we have in Zimbabwe invest in research when it comes to medical research. These days, it seems there are so many side effects which are because of the medication that we're taking. I would think a person who's really rooted in African problems or African people would try to get alternative medicine a chance, invest in research to do with certain types of alternative medications, whether it's for high blood pressure or for gout, because we are losing so many lives due to the complications of what these medicines are doing to our elderly. So those ones who act as if they've got money are not really investing back into the people. There's really no corporate social responsibility in Zimbabwe. I thank you so much for this time. I will leave it at that.
Yeah, thank you, Miles, and we appreciate having you on the platform, having more women speaking. I mean, on these platforms is a very much welcome move. And for those who are requesting, don't give up. I see you guys. I will be bringing you up as soon as we continue to recycle others. So, my Bongwe, welcome to the space before we go to Flora Romai, and Tawanda is also here, and Ben Chu and Flora Romai, another lady that has joined us on the platform. It will be nice to also hear from the lady, and I will be coming to you, Tawanda, as well as Ben Chu. So, my Bongwe, welcome to the space, my friend. Go ahead. My Bongwe, unmute yourself. Is it your first time to speak? Unmute yourself. Just press that button on the left down there. Yeah, then you can speak. Go ahead. How are you? Are you able to speak now? Your network, I think, makes it almost impossible for you to speak, my Bongwe. Oh, because you are trying to speak, but we cannot hear you. We cannot hear you, my Bongwe. If you can hear me, fix your network. There you go. Again, try. Hello? My Bongwe, are you there? All right. Miles spoke some things that are very important, Flora Romai, with regards to corporate social responsibility and encouraging those who claim to be rooted in the African promise or African dream, that you see they may also even consider investing in alternative medication, in order to assist Africa. What more can she say if you look at the burden of hospital care in Zimbabwe itself? And Wicknell, Chivayo, and Tagwirei, as well as Scorsapanya, you would expect that they could probably take this as a challenge, and perhaps we could have seen, them exhibiting something at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair. But you, as an OPF individual, Flora Ramai, we are having a very good discussion here. We are not insulting each other. We are just arguing as fellow Zimbabweans and debating among ourselves so that we get the country that we want. Were you surprised that Wicknell, Chivayo, Tagwirei, and Scorsapanyas companies had a no-show at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, and the ZRP actually becoming the winner at the exhibition? What is your take when it comes to that? Comrade Justice Mahuni, I would also want you to speak about that when I eventually pull you up. So Flora Romai, go ahead.
Oh, thanks, Huli. Were you trying to trigger me by saying we're not insulting anyone? I'm quite happy to do that.
I know.
Oh no, I'm past that. Trust me on that. It depends what time of the month you get me at. Anyway, I was looking. My husband goes to the ZITF in terms of he normally does exhibit, but there's more to do with skydiving and does branding for most of the companies. And then I've never been to the. I've never been. Can you stop it?
Donald, please mute yourself.
Yeah.
Mute your mic. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Flora Romai, go ahead.
That's fine. I've never been to the trade fair because I've got agoraphobia. I've got fear of people. I have to be drunk in front of loads of people. So anyway, the focus areas for 2025 was agriculture, construction and infrastructure development, education, human capital development, financial service, innovation and information communication, ICTs, infrastructure development, energy, transport, telecoms, manufacturing, mining, printing, publishing, renovation specialists and suppliers, and tourism in terms of incentives, conferences, and events. And obviously, there was a lot of benefits of participation, and then on it, how to take part. There's three groups. There's exhibitor, the one who exhibits, and I think you will find that under those headings, Tagwirei falls into different categories within that streamline of what needed to be done. He's a shareholder in CBZ Bank, and he is also into mining. And then there was the visitor. A visitor can come and pay a fee and see what other people are doing. And there's a buyer who also will invest in what other people are exhibiting and looking at companies, this business that's at play in the background. So to say these people were there and didn't have an exhibit, I don't know what Wicknell does. I don't know what Scott does in gold. He's a buyer in gold. So in terms of mining, he fits under that. Not everyone has to have an exhibition because he might not even have a product to show. He might just have cash, to flaunt. But it does not mean that necessarily you need to exhibit anything at the trade fair for you to be a participant. It's enough to come and, be present because it's about business. It's supposed to be there for us to look within and change our growth. Because on this as well, it's telling us that's a population of 16.7 million people. How big our country is, 390,756 kilometers squared. And our GDP at the moment is 35.2 billion. And per capita is at 2,104. That's according to World Bank. So the emphasis was not really on those three people. It was about how you as a Zimbabwean can take part or can look at building your own entrepreneurship in order for you to grow and to grow others in terms of employment and where we are heading as a nation. I don't think, and I actually liked Emerson Jr. Being able to showcase his security guarding of his father. There was nothing sinister about that they didn't find anyone. I think he felt like it was fun to do something that he might not be able to do. That's his father. It's just pride. And sometimes we need to have that pride to show that, he's in the army. I don't think he joined the army because his father was becoming president. I think to get where he was because he wants to protect Zimbabwe. And there was an army. The army was actually have their own exhibit there. But I don't know what they were exhibiting the police whatsoever, because I know they failed in so many areas. I'm not just ZANU PF. I look at things critically. And I'm not just there to say this is negative, but sometimes we just have to say, okay, we're proudly Zimbabwean. And I think that's what Emerson Jr. was doing. He was just being a proud Zimbabwean. And Tagwirei has so many CBZ. Scott Gold Mining is there. So I don't know what Wicknell does. Someone will tell me. I'm not really a fan. So that's all I have to say. Thank you, Hulu.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Flora Romai, and of course, you didn't touch briefly on the quality of the police clearances that the ZRP offers to our people. Do you want a quick 10 seconds on that?
What do you mean by the ZRP police clearance? Oh, in terms of what?
In terms of its quality,
what
as compared to other countries?
Zimbabwe, when it comes to, do not be in terms of digitalization of the police force. I mean, I've been in the police station at Waterfalls a lot, and yes, lacking. We have to look at everything in a critical manner. In terms of digitalization and information technology, our police force is quite behind, right? And I've actually looked at it and thought, okay, if you can get a tender or try to re-educate like the ICT person is supposed to be doing in order to help us in certain things. These are very simple things. You can get university student to help you to have a data, done for such simple thing. But in terms of record keeping, you can't fault them because it's still manually led. But if you look at the same principles that we use for our passports, it's the same principles that you use for fingerprinting. But the alignment of digitalization of our records and stuff we're still a long way. I think we're very manually led in our processes in Zimbabwe, which I normally complain about. But there's always other people who can come in and take advantage of that and make, if you went to ZITF and you'll be able to actually introduce something and sell a service to the government, in order to realize what needs to be done for us to save time. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with you, Flora Romai. And perhaps for those who are coming up now as the speakers, as I go to my Bongwe again, you can be pondering on that to say perhaps the failure to innovate, is the very reason why Sean Mnangagwa had to run in the rain. Is the very reason also why many people find it very strange that the ZRP can actually win. At the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, the best exhibitor at that fair. People will be questioning that, of course. But all right, so we move with the speakers. Let me see, Ndini, I'll be with you shortly, my friend. We have been here for a while, and I appreciate that. And Reinhard, our network has been playing games. We will be also be checking out with Reinhard. Maibongwe, are you now able to speak? You were struggling with your network earlier.
Yes, I'm.
There we go. Is it your first time to speak on this platform?
No, it's not the first time to speak. I think it's my network.
Oh, yeah. All right. Maibongwe, go ahead. So there we have got it. You have heard Flora Romai talking about the motivation of Sean Mnangagwa protecting his father, right? What are your thoughts?
Okay. Like actually, is everyone hearing me? I don't have so many points to comment about this one, but actually my point of interest was to comment and to say a lot about why Tagwirei and Sports Sakopana failed to exhibit at ZTF. I don't want to run away from your question, and I know that is going to bring a lot of new ideas and a lot of information to everyone here as well. But actually, my interest is, I say that I was interested to comment about one that Tagwirei and Wicknell they didn't fail to exhibit, but there were valid reasons why they didn't exhibit at the ZTF. But my point is, number one, why did they, what were the major reasons? Because the reason, my first point is the public security and controversies. Because both individuals between Scott Sakupanya and Wicknell Chichivayo have been faced allegations of corruption, state capture, and illicit dealings within the government as well. So, on the other hand, if you look at Tagwirei has been under sanctions for corruption and undermining democracy. So, ZTF, like it was going to attract negative attention. You see, because that DTF, it is a high profile event, so it was going to create a lot of a lot of tension and a lot of problems within the foreign affairs. Okay, so
Hey, my bong, we cannot allow you to continue. Unfortunately, I've got an audience here that I would need to get proper information. So you are saying that Tagwirei and Scott Sakupanya, as well as Wicknell Chivayo, did not need to exhibit anything, because if they had exhibited something there, their products and services, that would have, elicited negative sentiment on the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair. Like, are you for real?
yeah,
Go
yes,
ahead.
that's what I.
Go ahead. No problem. Go ahead. We have noted what you have said, and of course, we are going to be asking our speakers to respond to it. Go ahead, my bongwe.
Okay. Okay, and on the second reason, okay, is because they were also avoiding political backlash. You see, so if you see that the TF is a government-backed event, and the applicants might have drawn criticism, especially amid Zimbabwean anti-corruption rhetoric. You see, so this event was often attended by top officials, and the association could be politically sensitive. You see, so imagine, let's say, it was going to be stupid to them and being seen because everyone criticizing Shiva. Shiva has been getting tendered through politics. You see, it's been to Mnangagwa. Like you see the other video whereby people they were mocking Mnangagwa, saying that Chiva is your boss. So those were the other things which they were avoiding. And also another thing, the point is also the business strategy. Okay, since I've mentioned that their ventures, Sakunda Holdings, the enforcement contracting etc., may not have been VTF as necessary platform for their current operation because they've been getting tenders from the government. Okay, so especially if you look about their legal reputation risk, and so like uh, their reputation, you can see Chiva's reputation and Sakure's reputation is like, I don't know how I can say it, but it's something that is not good for the current state in
All
Zimbabwe.
right. All right,
Yeah.
my bongwe. Let's hear what others think about what you have just said. For those who are joining us again, thank you very much for joining me, Juliet Pachiso Life, and the sentiments by Maya Bongwe. Other people can be very surprised about them, but that's the reason. That's the reason why we discuss, right? So let me just go to Ndini, Zimbabwe, and for those who are requesting, please, guys, fix your network. You have been talking on this basis. What is going on? I'm bringing you up. You falling. What is going on with my homeboy, and what is going on with Comrade Mahoney? I wonder what is going on with their network today. But I'm as soon as I create space again, guys, I'll be bringing you up, and let's see. Because I want to hear from you what are your thoughts when it comes to this. We are discussing Wicknell Chivayo, Tagwirei, and Skorsakanya, three of some of the most famous entrepreneurs in Zimbabwe, connected, of course, to our government, and they did not bother to exhibit anything at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, feeding into, the allegations that these individuals have really nothing to offer to our country except their political connection to the ruling class. What is your take when it comes to this? Are you ashamed that Tagwirei himself had nothing to exhibit at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair? What about the case of the Zimbabwe Republic Police actually winning the best exhibition at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, considering the record of the Zimbabwe Republic Police. So those are some of the things that we are talking about. Welcome, Charlene. Welcome, Charlene. Is it Charlene, maybe? And not Shah. Okay, but sometimes it is Charlene. And then welcome, Reynard as well. Reynard, Ndini Zimbabwe, if I can just quickly go to Reinhard, because his network is not very nice today. I wonder why. My friend Reinhard, welcome to the space. Go ahead.
Hey, thank you, Olu. And good evening to everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, continue.
Okay, let me try and play around with this. This network is flip-flopping. I think maybe it's these winds. You know, when you are looking at the okay, let me start with Mrs. Rurama. Sorry. You know, to say that what you were saying, that you're giving a critical analysis, I think you are not right there. You are not being fair to us, because that is the worst critical analysis that I've actually had. Because we have to look at the essence of the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair and what it means to Zimbabwe. Every country has got such a very big event. There's the Canton Fair in China. There is another fair in America. There are fairs in Germany. So what do fairs signify? They signify, I mean, your progress, your ability to be actually in tandem with whatever trends that are happening nationally or internationally. They signify the progress of your people. But as far as this trade fair, this has been one of the worst trade fairs that I'm actually hearing you discussing. Because whoever was arranging this, I mean, who was running this project, and say, okay, we have got a project. Okay, what is the project? Okay, the government has got to go and exhibit by the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair. Okay, but we don't have anything to exhibit. No, don't worry. You know, we can take Wicknell. You know, as big as he is, then he will run, and then people will say, no, Wicknell is busy. He's a billionaire, but he's actually showing. I mean, what the heck is that? Is Wicknell a product that we can actually say to the international community, come and buy this fake thing here? Is he? It's not even a product. So I'll have to ask you, Mr. Ramaguti, where is the small-scale industry? Where is it exhibiting? Where is our young people who are supposed to be put in bed or whatever? It's not even there. But we're talking of people like Tagwirei, Scott, Wicknell, who are actually the causes of whatever has made ZANU-PF to split. Because at this level, to talk about Wicknell, Kudakwashe, Scott, when there is no local industry in Zimbabwe to boast about, while you are still building phone in Portuguese, they mean a bakery of mud. These are the things that they saw in Mozambique, and they're actually coming and they'll say, no, women are actually opening an industry. Let's be serious. Technology is advancing and we are regressing. And we say, no, we're doing a Zimbabwe International Trade Fair. We are now going for quantum technology. This is where we are going. And somebody is saying, no, you know, they could have exhibited money. Who doesn't know money? And how money is printed? No, they could have exhibited gold. It has been there. We have read it in history. We have seen it in museums. So what is this supposed to be? Where are the products? Where is the innovation? How are we catching up with the world? And are the people who aspire to be trading with us seeing that at least we have got something to offer? No, you know, Collins was showing the love of his father. We don't eat Collins' father. We are taxpayers. We are paying that family, and that family is stealing from us. This is where the problem is. And somebody will come and glorify that and say, no, it's the love of the father. Then you tell me that is a critical analysis. Please, let's grow up, please. If you have got a PhD and you give me such an analysis, even if I haven't even gone to school, I'll give you a 0. Because that is one of the lamest analyses that I've ever seen. Trade fair is about progress, the economy, technology, and going forward. You understand? But now we're going, you see, look at our infrastructure, look at our roads, look at everything that we have got. Is there anything to talk about to say as human beings we are progressing? And as it is it worth to go? You know, it's better not to sekuru vatove zavo kana kuti the jockey or somebody who is making a knob carry and say, come on, please come and exhibit your knob carries here. Because we've got nothing to show. Zero, zilch. No infrastructure, no industry, nothing to trade. Except only things which are being looted and being traded. And then we want them to come and be exhibited at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair. Yet they're benefiting no one. And then we say the police has ever been there. We know the police. Then Monosona Hembe 2-3 bring a new fashion and say, no, these are exhibits. This is a new thing they've got to win. Then we've got an Amai Koira. I mean, this is trekking, eh? I'm just saying it in Shona. Anamai Koira, Papa, that is the no bedroom later so. A very big embarrassment for a community like ours. Why are they doing that? But we know they're just exhibiting to their leaders because the behavior is synonymous to what our leadership does. If we look at our top leader, if we want to define him in terms of actually streetwise or the unorthodox profession, he qualifies that. And here, so these women are busy. They are pygmies. They are trying to outdo each other. If a man sees me there, obvious case we are men. We've got two heads. Then that man thinks with the other small head, and then maybe he's interested. Those women are pygmies. So they're just trying to outdo each other. And somebody say, we are exit. You see Nick Mangwana Shua. You're saying, look at these women. They are busy dancing and actually gyrating sexual dances here. Don't quite trade fair. No, let's discuss say Wicknell and say what. But okay, let me go. Let me just say something a bit. The reality of the situation is we have bankers who are looting money. Such a similar situation has been happening in America. This is the reason why you see ZANU-PF split. We have bankers who are stealing money. And then we've got people who went to war who are saying that we are being shortchanged. And we've got a public which is being shortchanged by, it's been exhibited. And then if you look at these bankers, who they are actually in bed with, this is what actually counts by the end of the day. Because Zimbabwe, there's no more country, gentlemen. Let's be honest. These guys are local elites who are in bed with the global elites. Even if you look at the picture, even if you look at Trump has been trying to dismantle everything that these elites have been doing. The bankers in America. Now we've got bankers in Zimbabwe who are subscribed to the WEF, which is supposed to be promoting them and actually bringing more products. I mean, if they are patrons of the WEF, I would expect them to know they can coax their friends from overseas. Say, hey, my friend, look here, we've got a situation. We don't have water in Zimbabwe. Can you come and actually put water? But we know the agenda of the WEF. Loot the money, take the money, and then leave these people they'll be under our control. You shall own nothing and be happy. And Trump is busy dismantling. Trump is busy dismantling that. Yet we are saying that these guys, they are international people. They can't actually coax any international people to come and exhibit for them. Can't you see that this is just, a game, and they're busy looting.
All right, Renat. I would love to hear you again, Renat. What is going to happen is I've got some people that are requesting at the bottom there, and I would need to reshuffle my speakers in order to accommodate them. So those who are requesting, guys, I see you. I mean, Koma Senior, I see you. Homeboy Taxi Driver, I see you. Comrade Bengu, and many others. I see you guys. We'll be bringing you up shortly. You see, I will be bringing you up shortly as we reshuffle the speakers. But Flora Ramai, of course, you were mentioned there, and you might want maybe to say something briefly because Ndini has been hanging on there together with Tinashe and Benchu. Tawanda has been very quiet and behaving himself nicely there. I appreciate that, my friend Tawanda. Zukwala as well. We will be with you shortly, guys. So, Flora Ramai, just a quick rebut there, and then we move with the other speakers. Go ahead, Charlene.
Thank you.
Well.
All I want to say is the projection for this year was 800 plus total exhibitors, 30 plus exhibiting countries, 10,000 business visitors, and 75,000 total visitors were in Bulawayo. So in terms of the economies of Bulawayo, hotels, and catering and other things, many people really did well. I cannot be sitting down with a person who can't have an argument that is actually of a sound mind to me, because I don't take things emotional and call everyone a looter or say ZANU PF is this, and I don't recognize what happened last year at the trade fair. Maybe this year was quite significant because of the 2030 vision, but my mom, I remember when I was young, my mom going to the trade fair in the 80s, whereby people used to treat it as, a holiday from Harare. So it was known amongst some form of class then. So I don't know where he gets it from that we should all loot people together and start singing, Kumbaya. It's about business, and business is about the economy. It has nothing to do with your poverty in your own little mind. It's not there to justify you and your thought process. I only do what I'm seeing, what the point of the trade fair is, and I'll stick to that. Thank you.
So we move on. Let me go to on Ndini.
Ulu, you know, it's funny, okay?
And
All right,
sorry, and for
I'll
those
focus
that
on.
want to speak, sorry, Dini, for those that want to speak, please remain there on the request, guys. We will be bringing you up. As we reshuffle the speakers. So if we drop you after you speak, don't feel bad about it. Just come back to the request, and we are going to be bringing you up again so we can have a conversation. So, Flora Ramai, we still need you to rebut what people are going to say, and of course we would want to hear more from the rest of you. So all those who are requesting, I see you guys. Don't lose hope. We are bringing you up shortly. Dini, sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, my brother. I hope you are hearing me. One thing that I like about you is you give everyone a platform. Unfortunately, that's the stage that we are right now, where everyone needs to be heard, right? Needs to put up his way of or her way of thinking and the way he or she sees things. I used to suffer from that, you know me, like I used to suffer when people what I don't like to hear. So now I've grown to understand, you know what? I can keep my frustration to myself. Right. Surely Mnangagwa is a major. Rank actually it's actually a star rank. When we say a star rank, we mean it's a major. It means greater. It's just a rank above captain and just below lieutenant colonel somewhere there. To see him running, and then someone comes here and he's saying something to us that no, he was just being proud, running, protecting his father. That's BS. Unfortunately, I will have to call it what it is. It's BS. You can't have a major running. We have a lot of uncommissioned members there who are able, trained actually, more experienced actually, more than probably shown to protect the presidium or the VIP of whatever, even dignitaries or even leaders from other countries. These guys are able. So shown to run around, they will know what is protecting. That's why we'll be saying this, my brother Olu. Our country is captured. If you see now a president having his son, a soldier, leaving his comfort starring and running around, it means he's protecting the capturing. There's no two ways about it. You can call it all you want, but it is what it is. He's protecting his father because he knows because of his father's conduct as a first as the leader of the country is kind of irritating everyone. That's the issue with that picture that we're actually talking about instead of talking the success of the international trade fair, which was a flop as we know it. I will ignore the issue to do with the women for ED because I respect the women. I have a daughter. I respect my sister Comfort down there. One woman that I respect so much, and other women who are decent. So I won't talk about that. But what I can say about is just respect is earned. You can't just come sometimes say, I know what to respect women when women are actually displaying moves that doesn't deserve respect, right? And then we go to what Ramai said about that the likes of the people that we are talking about, Wicknell, Tagwirei, and Sakwanya could not present anything or exhibit anything on the international trade fair because their lines of business were already covered in, say, banking or mining and stuff like that. I mean, the company for Wicknell, I think, is, as far as I know, it's called Better Gold Zimbabwe or something like that. We did not see a stand for Better Gold Zimbabwe. It's a company. It could be owned by Sakupanya, but it is a company. What we actually now think is that, or suspecting, is that it is a company which is running in a shady way. That's why it can't display. I mean, on the international trade fair. Probably the same thing for Wicknell. I don't know his company. I don't know what his real business is. But another Tagwirei, we know that he's got so many companies within Sisafunda there. You could say energy was there being talked about and this being displayed or being exhibited. But we know there's Sakunda. We know there are a lot of there are a lot of companies that he owns or that he have interest in. Maybe I'm wrong. I didn't see anything. I didn't see any of them. So to say that they were being covered in like this and say, Bulawayo is for in terms of catering, maybe it couldn't. I mean, cater for. I don't know. Maybe I didn't understand your profile, but you know what? I will. When
Yeah.
we grew up in school, just to finish, we used to
Hmm.
go to what it was called their career guidance, where the institutions, companies, and government, even government entities would come display their way of recruiting. Are like, oh, you know what? If you grow up, if you want to be a soldier to join Air Force, we do it like this. You come and you join us. You go through A, B, C, D until you become a member and you or other companies. That's more or less the way the exhibition at the ZITF is done. But then if you see people doing Congonia and the other organizations like ZANPF displaying, selling card I don't know what you call it. It's no longer a trade fair. It's no longer about business. ZITF, it's about trade. Trade means business, man. Trade means business. So we are fair in your business. Thank you so much. I will drop down.
All
Thank you, my
right.
brother.
Yeah. For those who are just joining us again, thank you for joining me, Hulu at Pachiso Live. And we are, of course, talking about the developments at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair in our second city of Bulawayo, and other people, expressing their outrage at ZRP, the Zimbabwe Republic Police, actually winning the best exhibition, considering the record and the quality of service offered by the Zimbabwe Republic Police. Others, of course, also noticing the young women for ED, gyrating and all doing all manner of things, dances and all that. Something that many people find to be very much objectionable. And of course, I know the big hitters, Week Notivayo, Kuda Kwashe Tagwirei Sakunda, Week Notivirus, IMC Communications, Tagwirei's Sakunda Holdings, Scott Sapanya's Better Brand, are unable to exhibit any products or services whatsoever in Bulawayo. However, others are saying there were 10,000 visitors to the city of Bulawayo, giving good business to Bulawayo. And that in itself shows you the extent of the success of the international trade fair. But that's the reason why we are having this discussion. So, Comrade Justice Mahoney, you became notorious for being the leader of the Makorokova in Zimbabwe, and you surely have much more knowledge when it comes to these issues. What is your take when it comes to, were you not expecting to see IMC, Tasakunda Holdings, and Better Brands appearing at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair with products or services rather than Wiknuchi Vio marching alongside the cars of the president? What is your take, Comrade Justice Mahoney? Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Comrade Hulu, and everyone on the space. I hope you can hear me. Yeah, I think this thing of Wi-Fi, data network, stuff like that. So in between that, I was losing connection, so that's why it was dropping me and stuff. I don't know what Buster's country is about. I thought everything is efficient in this country here. I'm disappointed with the network. But anyway, yeah, good discussion, Comrade Hulu. I joined quite early, and I had some people trying to trigger me to come. I must hasten to say that I'm a bit fatigued by these discussions. As you know, they are very personal to some individuals and all that. I prefer to listen. That's why I take my time to listen to my fellow comrades and colleagues giving their take. But as far as I'm concerned, I think this trade fair was a good, successful trade fair. I don't know the matrices or how they adjudicate the winner for the exhibitors because I don't sit in that committee and I don't know how it's done. I think they saw it fit to give it to ZRP according to the standards that they saw that they use to determine who wins. That maybe we can ask on the timeline of Subusiso Moyo, who is the president of the ZITF. He is also a renowned business person. So I think they know how they do the process of giving people awards as winners of exhibits. So be the case it may be. So I don't know how they came to that. But what I can comment is ZRP has been doing a great job in terms of the prevailing peace in the country. And, I always comment on how efficient they are on their social media page. I think on Twitter, you see, is one functioning Twitter account that is very responsive to things that happen. Even when you report of some ills that are happening, you can see them, they act. Even people here, when there's someone who rapes someone or something that happened in our society, when you take them, you see them acting and they come up with a response. I think that's an efficient department in terms of their communication skills. I should commend them for that. Some other things.
Yeah, but Comrade Mahoney, sorry, we I have an audience here that deserves to, I mean, to get all the facts right. Now, the Zimbabwe Republic Police, appearing in Bulawayo and exhibiting at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, you would expect that that should be for business. And what sort of business do you think the ZRP was offering at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, and how? I mean, did that offer become better than the offers that were there from the rest of the other companies that Flora Ramai has mentioned, that there's over 800 companies exhibiting there at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair?
I've already answered that I don't know how they adjudicate on the winners of exhibitions. So I don't want to speak on behalf of those who know. I don't know. The thing is, trade fair, if you binarize it to say you must see a company that trades in something being the one winning. I don't know if that's the case with ZITF, the way they do things. I don't know that. But the thing is, at that trade fair, I didn't see okay exhibiting. I didn't see Pick and Pay. I didn't see Peps. I didn't see many companies exhibiting that generally you say are the big companies in Zimbabwe. So I wouldn't fault some other company somewhere for not exhibiting just because it's owned by someone that I don't like or that you don't like. It's purely a business strategy. It doesn't suit in their strategy, perhaps, or they failed to secure a stand. It was sold out, maybe. So there are so many things to look at when it comes to them failing to exhibit. And it's not the only trading platform. If you look at, you are talking about Scott, who specializes in gold buying and stuff like that. Maybe is more suited to the mining intra, another platform that he can go and exhibit if he wants to. So I can't speak on behalf of him. He knows why he didn't go there. Perhaps if he wanted to, he could have brought in a few jerseys for better for Scotland FC and have a stand there. I don't know. Maybe it's not in their business strategy. they have sufficient coverage in the way they are doing things because you see them on social media. So I don't know why they wouldn't exhibit. You see, I was excited to see the European Union who were exhibiting there, talking about trade worth 60 million, horticulture that they are supporting, free trade. This is business that they were talking about. I heard the Japanese through JICA, they spoke about how low the business was before, how they are reconfiguring that to bring more business between Zimbabwe and Japan. I was excited about the address by the Vice President, Vice President Chiwenga, Vice President Mohadi. And when the president comes to town, it's always a show of those who are supporting him, That's what you see. But the important business, as far as I'm concerned, was discussed. And as far as I know, and as far as I see it, the people that we worry about is because they are pompous on social media. But those are not the big hitters when it comes to industry in Zimbabwe. They are just doing some small business there. I just comment them as they told you before. They are grade 2 dropouts, they are grade 7 dropouts. So when they make money, you expect them to behave the way they are behaving. So I don't really pay much attention to what they do. Because that's what uneducated people do with the money when they get it. But what I commend is the environment that makes them make the money. It shows that it can be done. If it can be done by a grade 7, why are you with a PhD whining about someone who is making money? Why are you not doing the same? Look at the projects that are happening in Zimbabwe. There are so many people here who are here on social media who are making more money in construction projects. Some of them, you know them, they are contractors at that hotel that's being constructed for that Afrexim bank. They are here on Twitter. They don't make noise, but they make the money. So sometimes it's all about the show that we want to see. We want to see that. We want to see that. Of course, you see what you need to comment about the president's son. He's someone who is showing tremendous growth. We know him as a parting guy. Now he's the head of the security. He's executing his job. He's doing the job description of someone who is a bodyguard, who is the head of security. You can see that there were so many security lapses before. You mentioned there was at White City in 2018 when the bombing happened. We almost died. We were there ourselves. We were in that tent. So there were so many security lapses. You go to Gweru when there was a youth interface there. Someone went and grabbed the president there in the eyes of the world. So of course you need to have someone there who will protect you. And who else is better than a major? Than someone who is a major, who is your son, who is now executing the job with excellency. You can see that he is not shy to be in the ring because he's a security guy. What do you expect? He's showing kuti ndiri babasa ndiri musecurity saka musecurity anofana kutonaiwa nemvura kababa hapana kutamba. His twin is there in the
Okay.
tent there akatogara zvakanaka hasi kunaiwa nemvura. He can choose that life, but no, he said I want to
Okay.
work. So just do the work, and he's doing the work. So why should you be worried about someone doing the work? As you can see, the person
Okay.
who is next to Art is the head of security as well. They are co-doing this job. They are employing, they are putting on the best for the job. You can't see any other labs now. Ukarada zvokuti mafandisi papi
Okay.
vanorohwa mambama ekuti unomhanya zvokuti umatochaya kuti wabva nekupi. If you look at the ZRP, I want to tell you something, Comrade Hulu. Go and look for the Chartered Governance Institute of Secretaries, Zimbabwe. They are in partnership with ZRP. They are accountants. Actually, if you don't know, ZRP actually runs some businesses at that depot, Mkushi depot. They do sewing, they do blankets, they do those uniforms. They are now making themselves. Ujinda Morris Depot, they are doing it. So they have some business that they run commercially, actually, selling some stuff. Varikuitawo zvekuita crafting. Ukatotarisa ukaenda kuchicipiti shops unotoona vakatoexhibita zvimwe so there are so many things that they are doing as the Zimbabwe Republic Police, but is there room for improvement at what they are doing? Yes, there is. I heard you talking about the police clearance. Look, there are so many things that you allow which affect the quality of those things. Security features. Audi chimwe chinhu chinongozogadzirwa apo neumwe munhu. So they need to improve on that. It's a process, Comrade Lulu. It's not an event. So
Yeah.
just give them
All
time.
right.
They'll get where you want them to be.
Mhm.
Please, let's continue to criticize when we see failure. And one more thing, politics, the people who are participating in politics are not necessarily the best of our society, but they are the ones who are there. You see, I can give you an example. There's a good friend of mine, he's an MP today, but I was at school with him. He was not brilliant, but he persevered. Akashingirira nechipolitics because he's our MP. But when it comes to intelligence, I'm more intelligent than him. But I'm not in politics. So what do I expect from my politicians? I expect them to do what they are doing. They are mediocre. So if you are not participating as a PhD student in politics, who do you expect to do better? I'm pursuing a different path. But if I had chosen to be in politics, obviously, you know me, my input, I input. When I see things done not well, I criticize. I tell you, Comrade Wu, that
Yeah.
we need to improve on smuggling. You can see there's an effort to do that. We need to improve on
Yeah.
formalizing our businesses. There's an effort to do that. That's where I come
All
in to
right.
say, let's do better. I see failure.
Exactly.
I don't like
All right.
failure. I don't like what I'm seeing in terms of our hospitals. I know that if I was given a chance, maybe one day to be Minister of Finance, or put 100 million
Mhm.
aside to say, I'll capacitate these hospitals. Do you know, I
Yeah.
hate the picture that comes from South Africa, where our people are humiliated there. We can do better.
Mm.
Let that Minister of
Yeah.
Finance set aside some money to say, look, we are now targeting our hospitals the same way we targeted roads for surgery.
Yeah.
We can do that with our hospitals and do a
All
better
right.
job. Thank you very much, Comrade
All
Lulu.
right. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Comrade Justice Mahoney. And of course, many people would love to respond to that. And for those who are requesting, guys, I see you. Please hang on there. I will be bringing you up shortly as we continue to reshuffle the speakers. But yeah, that was Justice Mahoney, of course, the leader of Makorokos. I don't know if he likes to hear that. A
I
man
don't
who
like
met.
it. I don't like it.
He doesn't like it. Yeah. He doesn't like it.
And when I was there in Chikorokoza, I was not exhibiting, but I'll be at every ZITF.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
And other people are sending me, DMs, and they're saying that Justice Mahoney needs to be aware that the Herald, had reported that they are looking for him, and the ZRP, which has just won the best exhibition at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, is looking for Justice Mahoney.
When was that? The article is for 2022. I was there in Zimbabwe. I left Zimbabwe in December 2023. So where are they looking for me? I'm here on the spaces. My name hasn't changed. So where are they looking for me? Don't worry about politics, my friend. It's politics. What do you expect?
Okay. All right, Justice Mahoney. It's people just sending me messages and say, you must remind Justice Mahoney that the ZRP that he's praising that it is very efficient has not managed to get hold of him.
Oh no. I was there. You remember I told you I was there. I was in those cells. I've been there. So I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know where they may fail to find me. They have my lawyers' numbers. They have everyone that they would want if they want to see me or to have audience with me. They can always find me. Actually, I
All
speak
right.
to a lot of police officers, so there's no
All
problem
right.
there. Thank you very much.
All right, Comrade Justice Mahoney. Let me move with the speakers. Tawanda, Benchu first. Okay, let me go that way
Hey,
because your hand is up. So,
yeah,
Benchu, welcome to the space. Go ahead.
thank you, Olu, thank you. Yeah, you can do better. I do better. Justice, I'm the far but anyway, ZRP winning zviri kureva kuti vari kugona basa, but inini I beg to differ because I mean kuti vanenge vachidisplaya chii kana kuti what is it, vanopa here chance ye mavisitors kubvunza maservices avo, conduct or maybe based on crime statistics, or I don't know, because people vanorohwa vanenge vachiprotesta for one reason or the other, but also at the same time we are discussing Wicknell, Tagwirei and Scott Saupanya. Inini, I would have loved to see Wicknell achiuya achitaura, or maybe showing or maybe teaching young people how to win tenders, government tenders, and how to source zvinodiwa negovernment, kuti kopi and vanozvisosa sei, something of that sort. But also zvataurwa I'm sure it's the Charlene, I'm sure, if I'm not mistaken, ari kutaura from the business perspective point of view. She's correct, because ari kutaura kuti she doesn't know what Wicknell does, what Tagwirei does, or Sakwanya. Ari kutaura zvinhu zvaakaona on the ground. So these guys that we are discussing, vana Tagwirei, Scott Sakwanya, ane business zones, better brands. So meaning better brands, ndaida munhu atashaya panapa, andanga ndichinyanyo kutarisira Benson Matinyarare, if I get his surname correctly, because I mean this guy anotaura, he sells brands, and he's actually the one I taura nezve brand ra Scott Sakwanya. So vanogadzira problem of products out of gold or something, or zvinhu izvozvo taida kuti zvionewo why tichitaura nezvavo, because these guys are quite successful in Zimbabwe. So timboisa issues aside, yes, business was successful according to Charlene, but also we're talking about this most successful Zimbabwe business, people that did not exhibit anything. And for your own information, what I've noticed also is paita president speech paya akasimudza champagne achiti cheers, and the cheers yaita yeye ndakaona Dishon na Wicknell, they also doing the same thing, cheers. I don't know what they seem to be celebrating there. Is it the success of the Zitf, or business ravo and the setup yavanga vainayo yairedza kuva people who were actually part of the people who were exhibited, but to my surprise ndiri kunzwa kuti havana chavanga vachiexhibita. So these guys, this was an opportunity for them to prove us wrong. But no, you know why you guys always complain, it's also we make money, this is how we make money. At the end of the day, this was an opportunity for every businessman ari muZimbabwe kutaura kuti this is what I do, but ivo havana kuita izvozvo. So coming to Sean, yes, justice ungataura kuti kana washedza kubasa this, but look at the way mhanya nemufana wewewo, desperation yacho, you can look at the face. I mean, there's desperation written all over his face. He's wearing a suit, arupina nemvura. I mean, even if he's a trained somebody and a security and akasarudzwa nekuda kuti anoziva basa rake, but the way yaanoita nayo is questionable, even to the media. You find, but this guy, this is desperation. Ari kuchengetedza baba vake, hakwete kuti ari kuchengetedza president, ari kuchengetedza baba vake. Ndo statements yatinenge taanayo. So all I'm trying to say is panga pane pane mixed emotions. Isusu tiri kuona kuti hurumende yedu is being exposed. Wicknell anoenda kunogara kupresidium. I don't know kuti anogara kwekwe ari ani. He's all over the place. Ari mukati muarmy imomo, ari kuteerana nemotikari dzapresident. And for what? I don't even understand. So the government has been exposed. Nenyaya yekuti tine vanhu vari kutaura nezvavo zvigananda mbavha. I'm sorry to say this way on the public platform, but that's exactly what it is. And also, if you look at political parties, I don't know, kuti havana kuziva here kuti vane also an opportunity. Say, for example, Chamisa is the president of a political party. Yes, we know kuti anenge akasiya or haana kusiya, we don't know. But this was also an opportunity for him to show up. Kuti timboonawo kuti zvaita sei, but haana kuuya. I don't know reason. I mean, iye ndiye anoziva kuti chikonzero why asingange achiuya.
Right.
But all I'm trying to say, Hulu, is the fact that ZANU-PF also they were showing party yavo zviri kureva kuti kana even my political party. That is why I'm bringing this issue of other political parties. But also the party has been exposed kuti iparty inoda kumanikidza vanhu kuti vabhilive kuti pane zvakanaka zvainoita pasina zvakanaka zvairi kuita. Inini ndiri kuiona sokuti it was a Zimbabwe international trade failures instead of Zimbabwe international trade fair. So
right.
Yeah. In closing, I'm sure the justice are very good. I mean, yeah, I know yatsogona kutaura zvakanaka chaizvo. But honestly, tatakatarisirwa vana Wicknell uchiwai, vana Tagwirei, vana Scott Sakwanya, vatiratidzewo kuti business ravari kuita ivo vanoita sei, mari yavari kuita sei. But havana. So it means there's a question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Benchu. And for those who are with us, somebody is asking in terms of what is the vision statement of Better Brands, which is owned by Scott Sakwanya. By the way, Better Brands' vision is to promote, I'm reading Vision 2030, on zero hunger through the provision of basic commodities such as food and toiletries to the vulnerable communities across Zimbabwe. That is the vision. Ventures, that's the vision statement of Better Brands, owned by Scott Sakwanya. To promote Vision 2030. That's the vision. And well, it is amazing. It is amazing, ladies and gentlemen. We can laugh about it, but it is a serious situation in our country. And let us continue to discuss these issues. Temptations, I'm trying to bring you up, but I'm struggling. I don't know why. But then let me just now go to Homeboy, taxi driver, and see if his network is now banned. So taxi driver, the vision for Scott Sakwanya's Better Brands is to promote Vision 2030 and zero hunger through the provision of basic commodities such as food and toiletries to the vulnerable communities across Zimbabwe. Now, that was never showcased in Bulawayo, and some people regard that as a shame. What is your take when it comes to that? Don't you think that this was supposed to be there at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair?
Wulu, how are you, my brother? I hope you're well. What an interesting conversation, in my view. Businesses choose their visions. That's number one. This is a clever vision to morph yourself into a bigger vision. And Vision 2030 is not a Zimbabwean thing. It's a United Nations vision, right? Which is underpinned by Sustainable Development Goals. And it is very refreshing to hear Pro Brands morphs itself in bigger things. Why not? If
you are an academic. You are an academic.
I am not supporting anything. I'm simply analyzing your question. And unless you want me not
those organs this come classes.
homeboy. Out
Tesla's vision statement is going to be about the United Nations development goals.
you get funding, you get approval. After all, it's a marketing opportunity. Why not? Businesses take opportunities. That's what they carry in their mind. And if you look at Scott Sakwanya's company not exhibiting, is Zimbabwe Trade Fair a forced thing, or is it a choice that businesses make? Maybe they were preoccupied with other things. That's a choice they make as business. It costs money to present, right? Maybe they saw another.
Right. Text. Can I read for you the mission statement of Better Brands? Listen to this. This is the mission statement of Better Brands for those that have gone to school and those that understand, how you write a mission and a vision statement. Sometimes I wonder, where do they get these people that they pay so much money to write this kind of nonsense? Now listen to the mission statement. To be a prominent industry value chain player, known for empowering the communities we operate in, delivering exceptional value to our local and international customers. Now, that is the mission statement of Better Brands.
There's nothing wrong with that, Hulu. There is nothing wrong with that. That is very strategic.
No, I'm not gonna make an academic debate with people here. The people who are in this space, many of them are aware of what a vision should be and what a mission should be. Surely this is wrong, and many of the people who are in the space know exactly what I mean by that. But anyway, taxi driver, continue.
But that's what they
taxi driver, follow Ramai. Wait, taxi driver, continue with your subject.
Vision statements and mission statements are meant to trigger conversation, like what we're doing. Fortunately, we are discussing about it. People are going to look at it. People are going to analyze it, talk about it. And by doing so, it will have an effect of some sort. It will spread like a wildfire, right? Because you're talking about it, Hulu. Then it has achieved its mission, right? It's to catch you and you talk about it, like what we're doing. So anyway, I'll leave that one to business analysts and those who deal with marketing and branding. After all, it's not a very interesting engagement. Anyway, Hulu, there are issues that you are discussing here. One that I will focus with a very objective mind. Can our trade fair be better? Yes. How? It should be encompassing, in my view. I think the planning should be improved. We should be seeing, if we're taking a look east policy, companies like Huawei and many others, Xiaomi, I'll be expecting to see those companies come to exhibit. If we're taking an agrarian point of view, we should expect them to see some machinery companies coming out of China, partnering with our companies. I expected to see some of our mines exhibiting what they are doing, even the minerals, the opportunity there. I would have expected Hippo Valley, Tonga there, and present there. I think that would, for the ZRP to be there, I think it's a good thing. Remember, ZRP protects businesses. So when they come there, they are symbolic and they represent the confluence between business, community, and are there to advise business that should you encounter any problems, we are here to save you. After all, why shouldn't they be there, right? So I think that's a redundant point for those who are making a fuss about it.
All right.
Yeah, for the president's son to run, that's normal. He can choose a comfortable life, like what Comrade Mahoney was saying here. I'm not going personal about it, but it's a relevant example. We saw what the Mugabe boys were doing, jumping on top of expensive cars, pouring expensive whiskey or wine on expensive watches. That is not what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing a different showcasing of good upbringing. That's a hallmark of good upbringing, Hulu, right? He's a
All
military
right.
man. He trained. He's not there by favor. He trained, right? He's a trained individual. Why should he not serve his nation?
All
That's
right.
statesmanship. Hold on, hold on. That's statesmanship, right? He's in the rain with others, right? I can be in the. He can. I'm sure he can afford an umbrella or someone to run with an umbrella on his side, but he chooses to run, right, to save the nation. That, what you see, Ulu, you can change President Mnangagwa, replace him with somebody else. The young man who ran, right, he's saving his nation. I don't know what has gone into people's heads, to be honest with you. The Trumps globetrot with their kids, dining, eating expensive food, drinking expensive wine. But we see a different type of service here, where a young man presents himself and runs and protects the nation's president. When he's at work, he's protecting the president, not his father. I know people
All
want
right.
to conflate issues here, Wulu. That we can't. We
All
can't.
right.
We shouldn't do that. But anyway, on the exhibition, Wulu, I think we can do better. To be honest with you, there's a lot of room for improvement. And here is the last point I'm making, Wulu. We should see the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair go to Masvingo, go to Bulawayo, where it was, Harare. It should revolve around the country, extend the the coverage to other people, because we have small businesses that may not afford to travel to Bulawayo, but they so need an opportunity to exhibit, right? So next time I implore those who plan to schedule it somewhere. But in terms of planning, I think there's a lot of room for improvement. A lot of room
All
for
right.
improvement. Olu, thanks. Many thanks.
All right, sexy driver. And ladies and gentlemen, for those who might not be aware of what a vision and a mission needs to be, I may just briefly just clarify to you in simple terms. So this is how we normally assist. Those that we assist. A vision should be what you want to become. In simple terms, what do you want to become? And a mission should be what is your business. So that is how you define those two terms. That's how they differ. So generally, I always emphasize, even to my own students, that a vision is about tomorrow, a mission is about today. So in other words, what you want to become becomes your vision. What are you now is your mission. So you cannot read a company's mission statement and be unaware of what products and services they offer. And when you're unaware of what products and services they offer, it is not a good mission statement. And when you read a company's vision statement and you are unaware of what they actually want to become in the future, then that is also not a very good vision statement. That's why I actually laughed off these vision statement and missions. And if you can read it again, you will notice that you will not understand exactly what do they want to become, because 2030 is not what they want to become. If you read their mission statement, you will not even be able to understand what sort of products they're offering to the community. By the way, Better Brands is well known for jewelry. They sell jewelry and all that because he's into gold mining. So that is the emphasis that must be put on his mission statement. And his vision perhaps could be maybe to expand his empire into the entire Africa or into the world and things like that. But anyway, that is a discussion for another point, another day.
But
Uh,
just one point,
thank you. Mhm.
businesses and business landscape has evolved. So these textbook sort of definitions, Hulu, have far become irrelevant, Hulu. You have
No,
to adapt to.
no taxi. This is not a textbook. This is actually a simplified version of understanding how to go out of the textbook, out of the text. If you want to know what tomorrow is going to be, God is going to tell you that in the end, the Son of Man shall come, and those who are not saints will go to hell.
Who
Now, that's Listen,
Yeah,
I'm saying that today you got to be born again and repent. That is how you achieve heaven. That's how you get to heaven. So there's nothing that has changed. There's no textbook there. This is clearly how it should be. You can read the vision of Tesla now.
do you
You
want
will understand
who,
that it makes a lot of sense. I'm saying go read the vision statement of Elon Musk's companies, and you are going to learn something out of that, right? Yeah, but let us not delay
just
the speakers.
one sentence, Hulu. Let me give
Yeah.
you a simplified mission of a business, a very simplified one, is to make profit and make money. It's that
Yeah.
simple, Hulu.
Yeah, but Taxi,
Hello,
my friend, Taxi, you cannot change tomorrow and today.
hello,
Today remains today. Tomorrow remains today. To tomorrow.
hello,
So it is important for us
hello.
to just move on
No,
from
no,
that
no,
because
because
we
you
don't
actually
want.
made an
No, no,
assertion.
no, no.
No,
Don't worry,
you have
Flora.
made an assertion that's
I've got many
incorrect.
speakers who want to
No,
speak.
but you have
Say it
said
again.
something wrong about better brands. That's not true.
Well, if I've said it
No,
wrong,
because
then
they're
you can
actually
say it
involved.
better. Then.
Because in terms of what he said, it actually makes sense because his business is not just mining; it's construction, petroleum, borehole drilling, and financial investment. So, in terms of that, what he said is correct. He's not just into gold
Okay.
only. He's got different